Hello everyone and welcome back to some good old StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is a couple of series that Serral recently played during HomeStory Cup 22. So spawning right here in the first one in the bottom left hand corner of Data C, that's game number 1 in this best of 3 series, playing with the blue Zerg drones. We have, as you may already guessed, Serral. His opponent in the opposite corner with the red Protoss probes, he's known as the captain, he's known as the cowboy, he's known as the second best Dutch YouTuber. First, obviously, being Euthermal. We're looking at Harstem's main Nexus. Okay, here's the thing. In yesterday's cast, I mentioned that, well, he was going up, Serral that is, he was going up against Showtime. I mentioned that Serral was playing some very cheesy games, and we watched him execute some ridiculously aggressive strategies that really did feel a little bit out of character. Now, I hypothesized at HomeStory Cup that this was because of the fact that, well, he was playing past midnight, and generally speaking, Serral not the kind of guy who really does, you know, play aggressively. Turns out, and a couple of you corrected me in the YouTube comment section, turns out that apparently Serral has been playing very aggressively overall at HomeStory Cup, especially in the very first group stage. So this has nothing to do with the time of the day, this is simply a match from, I think, the very first group stage. So there was no reason for Serral to play very cheesily, but apparently we've got ourselves a very quick spawning pool right here on Data C, followed up with a relatively quick hatchery on the low ground as well. What I want to do in this video is look at a couple of best of 3s that Serral played during the first group stages of the event. So hopefully we can figure out what's been going on inside of the mind of the man who's considered to be one of the very best macro players on the planet, as he now rushes out a whole lot of Zerglings, and Harstem going for a Cybernetics Core Scout, also known as the No Scout Opener. I still don't quite get the logic behind that. I mean, this is one of those scout timings that doesn't really get you a whole lot, other than the fact that you might figure out that something is a little bit off on the other side of the map. But if you scout with the pylon, then you can figure out exactly what's going on. If you scout with the gateway, you're not going to get as much information. However, Zerglings are already running towards the other side of the map. And is this something that Harstem is going to be able to pick up on? He's going to get right here in his opponent's natural. He'll see, okay, this is probably a pool first. But usually when it's a pool first, it's going to be a little bit later of a spawning pool than the one we see right here from the finisher. Someone actually also corrected me in yesterday's YouTube comment section once again. That people from Finland, and I love this one, I've seen this comment a dozen times at this point. That people from Finland are called Finns, not finishers. Anyways, pylon right here falls. Second pylon not yet available, although that zealot, or sorry, the adept here, just about to spawn. Okay, that's going to make the defense a little bit more manageable, but how much damage will Harstem really take? Because the problem is, yeah, now you don't have a pylon over here powering anything. There is luckily here for Harstem a second pylon in the main base that's in charge of powering that Stargate, so at the very least there's something there. But, oh my god, that pylon positioning, okay, I guess it is actually intentional. Making sure that there's not additional Zerglings running in right now, but none of that is actually happening on the other side of the map. I think these links might even be trying to get back home. Definitely not the most successful start. Definitely not the most successful start right here for Serral, but not a bad one either, right? Because in the meantime, he's checked up to watch he's gotten himself a third hatchery here, and he's, yeah, looking pretty comfortable. So I looked at the replay timer for this game. I believe it ends in like a minute. Maybe 2 minutes? I think it ends in like a minute from now. At least one of the games that I'm casting today is going to be ending really, really quickly. No, he's making drones for now. I thought maybe we were going to see a Zergling flood follow-up. Anyways, Oracle number 2 coming up. Harstem is going to be sending that first one across the map. If Harstem loses this Oracle and Serral starts making a whole lot of Zerglings, I think that's pretty much GG. He should not be losing this first Oracle, of course. 4 queens already available. Perfect time as well. Yeah, Serral actually does making non-stop Zerglings right now. Obviously, Harstem is not brave enough here to take a third base already. That would be a little bit risky, especially since there's really not a whole lot of economy here for Serral either. And this is something that Harstem does pick up on right now. He's thinking about moving down to the low ground, but he just saw the saturation of his opponent's third base. I don't think that's really what you want to do. This wall here at the front, though, with that one pylon, it's wide open, right? I mean, even an Archon could fit between that. Okay, more and more Zerglings running across the map. Serral making drones on the back of this. Probe here. Okay, not gonna not gonna stay alive. And despite the fact that this really wasn't a huge Zergling commitment, it's Serral who wins a quick game number 1. Game number 2. We find ourselves on the beautiful map Kosmische Saphir, as they call it over in Krefeld in Germany. It's also known as Cosmic Sapphire to the English community, however. Don't know what it would be like in Dutch. Kosmische Saphir, I guess. That sounds way too close to the German one. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. Sometimes it's actually really weird. Sometimes when I listen to myself speaking Dutch, you know, like when you hear a recording of your own voice, it sounds really weird to you. I don't have that problem with English, but when I hear myself speaking Dutch into a microphone and then I'm listening back to it, it sounds weird, especially after I've been talking English for some time. I don't know, my Dutch accent Americanizes itself somehow. I don't know, it sounds like I'm one of the dozens of people that moved from the United States to the Netherlands and started learning Dutch as an adult. I don't know, it sounds a little bit funny. Anyhow, hatch right here. And I'm guessing it's going to be a spawning pool as well as a... Whoa. As well as a gas geyser very soon. Harstem, what are we doing here? You do realize Serral's not a Protoss player, right? This wall-off doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, that's what we're doing. I think I know what we're doing. I think Harstem is thinking of going for a very, very quick Nexus here in the bottom left-hand corner. So this is a build I've seen a couple of times, and it can actually work out. But it's also saying, yo, I'm terrified of you, Serral. Please don't kill me very quickly because I need special tricks in order to win. At the very least, that's what it feels like to me. The problem is that Serral obviously is well aware of a build like this as well, right? He's going to get that Overlord across the map momentarily. And that is going to be the first indicator as to what is going on in this game. So, yeah, Harstem is going to be split up. Let's actually switch to Serral's vision. So this is what Serral's looking at right now. Apparently really making sure that everything is in the exact right position. But he's going to see that there's a whole lot of nothing here at the front momentarily. Okay, Queen start up. Zergling start up as well. He should know right now. Yeah, I think he just... Okay, hold up. I'm going to go back to the all camera. Yeah, I think he just re-rallied that one set of Zerglings here. I was thinking about it. That Zealot just ran past the Overlord, if I'm not mistaken. Hold up. Did that Zealot just walk past the... You could have just recalled it. You're usually gonna recall probes towards the bottom left if you go for a quick gold like this. So... Why is the Zealot running on over here? Like, that was such a clear giveaway, right? Like, why would there be a Zealot? First off, why would there be a Zealot? But secondly, why would it be making a beeline towards the bottom left? Anyhow, Nexus at this point is going to finish up. It spawns with enough energy for a recall. Want to see those workers moving across? I want to see... Okay, fine. We're not going to move the workers across, apparently. Adept is coming up on the back of this as well. A couple of Zerglings have scouted just now exactly what it is that Serral's going up against. And he decides to follow up here with drones back to the gas as well as a Baneling nest. So Serral is opting to go for a Baneling bust right now. Eventually, probes are going to start mining. And that is going to give Harstem a nice little economical boost here very, very shortly. Obviously, he's already at a healthy amount of workers as well. But he needs to hold on. That's the most important part. So this wall-off actually here is part of it. Making sure that the Zerg can't just rush through this mineral line right away. Immortal coming up, and with a shield battery, you can actually keep it alive for a very long time. Anyhow, oh no. Serral's trying to grab that one Adept. Shouldn't go down now, but he's trying to nibble away at it. That was still awfully close. Anyway. No battery? I mean, Banelings are finishing. I'm surprised there's no shield battery. Yeah, so he's actually just going to go for 5 gateways here. That is a lot. It's a lot of production. But the real threat is here in the bottom left-hand corner. Now the Banelings go in. There's no force field. There's no shield battery. There's a whole lot of nothing. I think Harstem wanted to go for what is essentially a 1.5 base all-in. Just a ton of mineral income. But, yeah, Serral looked at it once and he realized exactly what he needed to do. Okay. I don't know if that really counted as Serral being the cheeser, though. Serral just saw a really, greedy gold base, and he decided, you know what? I was gonna play a regular match, but if you're gonna play it like this, I have to respond. Anyways, our second best of 3 series. It's once again Serral in the top left-hand corner, and his opponent in the bottom right. Someone I've not featured before on the channel. He's from Denmark, and he goes by the name of PappiJoe. PappiJoe, he qualified for HomeStory Cup, so obviously he did a good job. That being said, Serral considered to be the best player in the world. PappiJoe, I think, according to a League Elect right now, they're ranked 100 and something. So definitely a little bit of a skill difference between these two. PappiJoe. This doesn't count as Serral cheesing, okay? I can't believe you guys called me out for this. For claiming that Serral was... What? No way. I mean, I can't blame PappiJoe for this either. So he's building a bunch of gateways. It's a pull first from Serral. That's rough. He's building a bunch of gateways over here. And obviously the idea is to start marching zealots in this direction. Serral is gonna spot that probe. That probe is that was a weird angle on that probe. That was a really weird angle on that probe. Is that enough? I think he probably wants to continue scouting here as well if he can, but beautiful flower over here set up. 4 gateways surrounding a single pylon. It's a work of art right here. He's even gonna go for a pylon over here in the back, probably to try and create some more surface area, right? Or at the very least reduce some of the surface area that the Zerglings could execute on. Wait, are we gonna... What are we doing? Is he faking a cannon rush with this? Oh, I think that's what he's doing, actually. Anyways, Zerglings are already spawning. Serral's making drones still, though, so he doesn't know exactly what he's going up against at this point. But he's gonna find out momentarily when the very first Zealots march into his natural expansion. Don't lead him. Hello? No. Why would you do that? Why would you... Okay, instantly a spine crawler stun shot. This is Serral saying, yo, I'm probably gonna lose the natural, but is he gonna cancel? Okay, at the very least, he's not gonna lose the game, assuming the spine crawler finishes up. That's always the tricky part. A little bit of dancing here, trying to buy time. Good control here so far. Queen here, already out as well. So he's gonna bypass the natural entirely and go straight for the main base. I guess that's actually the right call. You don't see this build a whole lot, actually. Super popular on the ladder, but not super popular at the pro level because these top level players are super good at defending against it. Despite the fact that Serral didn't find out until that probe led them in the right direction. Yeah, he still holds that pretty easily. Keep in mind, though, that link speed is on the production tab as well, right? So now he's going to settle for killing the Nat. The problem is that as soon as link speed is done, Serral can not only just, well, defend at home significantly easier, he can also go towards the other side of the map and absolutely wreak havoc in that mineral line. Although if he can get a wraparound on these Zealots, I think he's going to take it. Not the best wraparound, but with 2 queens shooting away at these Zealots, they're still going to be able to kill them very easily. And that's going to be the end for that push, isn't it? Now the spine crawler can come down as well if he really wants to. Yeah, PappiJoe calls GG. Next up, Tropical Sacrifice. Serral once again opting to go for a quick spawning pool this time around. Nothing all too crazy. I mean, if you're one of the top players, right? So, okay, imagine this. It's 3 in the morning. You're playing from home, and for some reason, you find yourself on the Korean StarCraft 2 ladder. You're in the queue for 15 minutes, and finally you find an opponent because no one else is playing, and it turns out it's Bjorn. What do you do? What do you do when the game loads up? You cheese him, right? You probably cheese him. At the very least, I would imagine like 80% of opponents at that point would cheese him. It's probably because of that Serral's opening up with a lot of save build orders in a lot of these games as well. Maybe over time he's just gotten more comfortable playing the spotting pool first rather than the hatchery first, just because it allows you to not lose to stupid stuff, right? And not dying to stupid stuff is definitely one of the one of the nice things to do. Did PappiJoe just go for a... Okay, no, for a second I thought... Did he go for a next... Hold on, I'm gonna back off. Sorry. So the gateway finishes. Does he still go for the Nexus first? Even against the pool first? So he scouts the pool first and he still goes for a Nexus first. That's actually not usually what you want to do. Usually you want to go for the Cybercore first and then the Nexus. The idea being that you can actually get an Adept out by the time that those Zerglings get across the map. Anyways, I'm going to forward once again so we're back to where we were. So now the Lings are running across the map. Oh no, this is about to get really awkward. Okay, he actually just completes the wall off here with a second Cybercore. So the normal build is to go 20 supply Nexus into 20 supply Cybercore, but that's why you scout. So when you scout and you see it's a pool first, you can go for the 20 supply Cybercore into the 20 supply Nexus instead. It's a small deviation, but it really does make a difference. Anyhow, Cybercore is done. Second pylon in the main base. Ugh. 160 gas-ish right there on the Twilight Council. Then we finally started it up. I don't really like this all too much here for PappiJoe already, despite the fact that nothing's really happened. Okay. Probe ends up going down. Nothing all too crazy, though, this time around. So far, though, these games that we've been watching, I mean, obviously there have been some aggressive ones, but it's not necessarily Serral being the cheeser. It's more or less Serral being the cheeseth, right? Forced to be an economical cheese from Harstem, or for example, that gateway proxy. Yeah, it feels to me that he is forced to respond, and then, you know, he just plays the game out accordingly. Just because the game ends at the 3-minute mark doesn't necessarily mean that the game was cheesy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Even though that really does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it? Okay, no, I take that back. That is not right. I take it back. Anyways, Glaives is coming up here for the Protals. So he's going to be going for the very quick Adept attack speed improvement, which is nice. I mean, I say very quick. It's honestly pretty late. Yeah. Because he was so late on the actual Twilight Council itself that this upgrade is now also going to be a little bit delayed. Now, sometimes, obviously, you can catch your opponent off guard at the perfect timing. So, yeah, hitting your precise attack timing may not necessarily always be the best, because obviously guys like Serral are going to be most comfortable against the most optimal version of the build. So if you then delay it, sometimes you can accidentally catch them off guard because, well, you're pushing. It arrived so late. Oh no, this is bad. That made me think of a game that Wardy brought up recently. So I apparently faced off against Wardy a single time on the ladder. Wardy, obviously, StarCraft 2 commentator as well, for those of you unfamiliar. You should definitely go check him out. Now, this is terrible here for PappiJoe. If you're going for an Adept push, you really want to keep this all alive, man. Anyways, apparently we faced off in a Protals versus Terran at some point. I was playing Protals, he was playing Terran. And since my Adept push was so late, he decided to salvage his bunker. And then I shaded in with the, with the Adept because my push was so unoptimized. Right after he salvaged the bunker. This is horrible. If you're gonna go for a Glaive Adept opener, losing a bunch of Adepts right before the Glaives upgrade is, yeah, not good at all. Nexus is gone. PappiJoe does have a lot of workers. Honestly, that was a ton of Zerglings that Serral just made. More so than he needed to. Now he's, yeah, following it up with additional drones again. I think that makes a lot of sense, but I don't think this is necessarily, though. Maybe I'm playing, or I'm casting this a little bit too much in Serral's favor, but I don't think this is necessarily Serral saying, I'm gonna make Zerglings and try to kill your base. I think this is Serral saying, hey, your early game builds seem pretty bad. I'm gonna punish you for it. And, yeah, you might call that cheesy, but it's, yeah, just smart, right? It just seems like the right move to make. Fun fact. Overseer spawn with full health. Ta-da! It's back, baby. How many eyes do Overseers have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you think there's eyes over here too? They've got at least 6. I feel like this is the actual head right over here, right? Of the Overseer. Anyways. It sees a lot is what I'm getting at. Roach is coming up on the back of this as well. A lot of roaches, actually. Only 54, Only 54 workers here. It's really not that much. He saves the probe. That's nicely done. He's scouting. He sees, yo, no Stargate, no Immortals, no problems. Guess what I'll do? I'll make a bunch of units and send them towards your side of the map. So it's going to be a bunch of Ravagers, I would imagine, and then a whole lot of Zerglings and Roaches. Maybe not even any Ravagers. I mean, there's only a couple of sentries warping in right now. This is right when the Adept move out is supposed to happen as well. Now the Adepts, once again, have to stay at home. Yeah, no Ravagers, no problem. Not an issue at all. To be fair, though, I do think that a couple years ago, Serral would have looked at this situation and he would have said, perfect. I can drone up 4 bases. And now he's just thinking, I'll just rip off the Band-Aid. I'll just go and win. All right. Our final best of 3 of the day. We find ourselves in game number 1 on the map Data C, and spawning right here in the bottom left-hand corner, playing with the red Zerg drones. As you may have already guessed, this is Cham. Haha! Got you, didn't I? His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Zerg pieces. He goes by the name of Serral. Alright, Cham. Ooh. Is this again? Look, this is not Serral cheesing, guys. Can't believe you called me out for saying that, Serral only cheesed in that series against Showtime. That's... I think that was actually mostly correct. This is Serral forced to react to someone who's going for a super quick spawning pool into a pretty damn quick extractor. Into a hatchery on the low ground? Is this 13, 12, 11 supply? Okay. So this is a cheeky one here from Cham, and I kind of like it. So, look at the difference right here between these hatcheries. So this is a hatch first here from Serral at the conventional amount of supply. This is a hatch is the third structure here from Cham. Now the trick is that Serral is going to get across with the Overlord very soon. He's going to compare that hatchery timing of the opponent with his own, and you will see, yeah, everything looks pretty normal. Nothing all too strange. Wasn't it Scarlet in the GSO Code S that ended up winning a game, I guess against a Rogue at the time? Am I wrong? With a very similar build as well. I think it was 13, 12, 11. I don't know exactly if that's correct, but I like this from Cham. Cham obviously a very good player. He ended up winning the Latin American tournament for DreamHack Atlanta not too long ago, which is pretty sick, the regionals. Okay, so Zerglings are sneaking around here. So he's just got enough gas here to start up the Zergling speed upgrade. He's now transferring a couple of drones as well. That is once again just to sell the story. Is Serral picking up on this fact right now? Does Serral realize? Because there was like a second or two of difference there. Or do you just assume that is a mistake from the opponent? I think you probably assume that is a mistake from the opponent. So these Zerglings are going to hide in the top left and yeah, together with a fish. Another one. Very nice. Anyways, they're going to chill over here for a little bit to then suddenly show up on the other side. Because 4 Zerglings at this point and nothing all too weird. Link speed is going to finish up in about 10 seconds from now. Yeah, a little bit longer than that. Anyways, all is normal here for now. As far as Serral has seen. He's going to go for a third hatchery. This might just work. Now, obviously, this is incredibly all-in. If you look at the worker count right now, it's 23 for Serral versus 10 for Cham. So, if you look right here at the income, it's not even remotely similar. But none of that matters if Serral can just win... Or, sorry, if Cham can just win the game over here. Crisis management right here from the finisher. Amazing crisis management here. Look at the drones as well. Hold positioning those for a little while. Now the queens are on the ramp. Wow. Okay, well, this is the real question over here. Does he have enough? If he knew, he would have saved up energy on those queens. Mineral walking once again with the drones. Oh, backing up one of the queens as well. Okay, we'll stay alive for a little while longer. Metabolic boost is going to finish up for our player in blue as well momentarily. Okay, okay. Good control there by Cham. Keeping a lot of the low HP Zerglings alive. Spinecrawler is going to finish up momentarily. Banelings are also going to be available. Third hatchery no longer anywhere to be seen, so I guess Serral probably canceled that one. He needs the minerals elsewhere. He knows very well that all he needs to do is just hold on. Preferably without losing the natural, though. Okay, Spinecrawler coming down towards the low ground. He's got enough larvae here as well to not need queens, but having a queen is still pretty sweet. I think this is still a hold. Yeah. I mean, now the Spinecrawler is rooting. As soon as that Spinecrawler is set up, which it is right now, yeah, GG. Nothing you can really do. Next up, Cosmic Sapphire. Nothing all too crazy, guys. No early spawning pools, nothing all too weird. We're just gonna go for a hatchery. And another hatchery on the other side of the map as well. Amazing. No cheeky cheese this time around. Someone should make a restaurant called Cheeky Cheese. I think that's an amazing place, dude. You can get yourself a deep fried Mutalisk wing. Maybe a nice, you know, toasty Zergling leg. Nothing quite like a fried Mutalisk wing, though. I could go for a fried Mutalisk wing right now. Anyhow, Mutalisk wings, by the way, are fake. Did you know that? I don't know how the gravity works on these planets that we're casting these games on, but I can tell you that the wings of the mutas, they're way too small to even remotely keep the muta alive, okay? Like, it should not be able to fly, is what I'm saying. The wings, yeah. Should be a ground unit. Be a really strange balance change, though, if suddenly mutalisks are ground units. But hey, I hate it when my science fiction video game is unrealistic. Anyway, hatch gas pool here from the both of them. Okay. Are we gonna see anything weird? No, looks like everything's normal. Yeah, so I think that may very well be the problem, though, that Serral is actually dealing with in a lot of these games. His opponents decide to either cheese him with, like, very quick early game units, or they cheese him economically. So, yeah, he decides to respond in kind. I mean, there are obviously a couple of games where he decides to be the aggressor. But most of the time, it seems to be the opponents that are dictating the pace of the game, and then him playing a reactionary style. Interesting. Very interesting. I would imagine that some other players also have similar problems to deal with. Like, Maru is very much so a guy who plays super defensively most of the time. Showtime also very much so the kind of guy who prefers playing a defensive style. And they obviously, these guys, I mean, maybe on the ladder you can play under a different ID, right? I know that Serral, for example, I think he was playing under the name Napoleon for some time. But then the issue is that at the top of the level, right, when we're talking about the very best players in the world with the highest MMR on the ladder, you really only have a dozen players that can reach 7k MMR, right? And Serral is the only one that's ever reached like 7.5k plus. So if you suddenly have a guy called Napoleon at 7.4k on the ladder, it doesn't take a long time to figure out who it's gonna be, right? On the European ladder, that can really only be either Serral or Raynor. So, yeah, you can probably compare hotkeys and all that. So, like, even playing under a different ID is not necessarily gonna hide your identity for very long. Anyhow, Serral coming across the map right now with a lot of links. Some people would consider this cheese, but honestly, this is just a normal opener in ZVZ. A couple of Zerglings managed to get into the main base right here as well. Cham going for the classic. Problem is, Serral spotted it, so that's kind of nice. Let's look at the Baneling Dance here at the front. So far, nice work here by Cham. He needs to keep, obviously, as many of these units alive. It's easy to accidentally mess this up, okay? That was not the greatest of trades, but he's got 2 more Banelings just about to finish up. And I think this is going to be A-okay. Okay. Yeah, so in ZVZ in particular, being the aggressor is usually much easier than being the defender. So usually as the defender, you need to overmake units and then counterattack. Cham, though, has got a nice economical lead, and he's actually ahead in this game right now. I'm really liking this position for him. The only thing he doesn't have going here is the +1 missile upgrade. Which, to be fair, I would... I would have, before HomeStory Cup, I would have heavily discounted him for not having the upgrade. But there have been a bunch of Zerg players lately, especially Elazer, who just do not believe in Evo Chambers anymore. Like, they purposefully don't make Evo Chambers because it's only good, if honestly correctly, the reason why they don't make it is because Evo Chambers are only good, like the Evo Chamber upgrades that is, they're only good in a straight up game of Zerg versus Zerg. But since nobody plays a straight up game of Zerg versus Zerg anymore, the Evo Chamber is a waste. In theory, I understand the logic, and I feel like that maybe was true a year ago, but I've seen a lot of Roach Wars lately. And it seems to me, okay, it seems to me that this game is also headed on over in that direction here. So the lair, yeah, it's nowhere to be seen here for Serral. Lair is about halfway done for Cham. But what Serral does have here is the +1 missile upgrade, and that's finishing up very soon. So +1 missile is nice because you can start 2-shotting these Zerglings rather than 3-shotting them, which is massive. Okay, a couple of Links and Banes here, ready to run into the natural. The Roaches are guarding the door together with the Queen, so I don't think they're going to be able to get too much done. A couple of Banelings over here as well, trying to get some work in, and these will connect, okay. 5 drones is the best you can hope for. But now the missile upgrade is finished. And that means that Serral is ready to start running a couple of those roaches across. Spire coming up here for Cham. So with a Spire, you don't necessarily need to get yourself the upgrades, I guess. I mean, +1 melee is still really nice. +1 missile too, actually, if you want to go back to roaches later on. Anyways, this move out right now from Serral at the very least is forcing Cham to spend his gas bank. He would have much rather liked to save all of that up. Okay. Melee's not getting a huge amount of value here. And once again, a nice hold here for Cham. Okay. So Mutas are a difficult unit to play against. I don't think anyone really enjoys playing against Mutas ever. They're tricky. They're very difficult to properly... Okay, he's decided to go for the Evo Chamber of his own, probably recognizing his opponent's upgrade. You can always click on one of your opponent's units and see what their upgrades are currently like. Anyhow, Mutas are going to be flapping their wings. Even though they're too small and they shouldn't be able to fly. They're going to be flapping their wings very soon. All 6 eyes of the Overseer. Maybe more. Coming up. Serral now scouted the Spire though. And he decides to go straight into a Hydra Den. But this is putting him in a very defensive position. One nice thing though on Cosmic Sapphire is if you are the defensive player and you are the guy with the ground-based army, you can actually move on over to your opponent's third pretty easily. Like the distance is not that long when both players go for the triangle base. I would have much rather seen Cham actually take the base over here. Because that one is much further away from Serral. If he wants to go over there, he's going to have to... Yeah, that distance is just significantly longer. I love this, though. Cham going for the gold base now. Okay. Well, how many mutas are we going to make? Just clearing Overlords is not going to cut it. Yeah, so all he wants to do is just deny vision for now, I guess, which is nice. Serral here scouts at the very least that there's no Spire upgrades coming up. So that's a good indicator that he'll probably go back to a ground-based army here before too long. But you still want to have a decent amount of anti-air available. Just on the off chance that the Hydras go down and then the Mutas suddenly can wreak havoc. Yeah, so I think what Cham is trying to do here is he's leaning into the gold base. He's hoping that the gold base is going to go unscouted. And then if they can have a Roach War... Even though he's an upgrade or 2 behind, he can make up for that difference by just having more income off of the same amount of drones. So I don't think he wants to fight here. I don't think he should fight here. That concave is amazing here for Serral. Whoa, really? I mean, Ravagers are nice, and I guess the Hydras don't have all their upgrades yet, but they could already shoot over those roaches pretty easily. One problem here for Serral is that he cannot really take a 4th base very easily. I mean, now he can start thinking about it. Oh, this is fantastic. Well, that makes it much easier. The Mutalisk's out of the equation. One Muta. One little Mutalisk. Golden minerals, though, are going to be mined here very nicely. This is not something I don't think that Serral knows of right now, but he is sending a Zergling in that direction. Keep going, little Zergling! Keep going! Serral actually busy microing his army over here, and... Wow. I'm surprised that Zergling actually lives. Okay, it is gonna go down here eventually. Doesn't really matter, though, even if you do know. I mean, it's nice to know, but you need to still hold this fight. Problem is, though, Hydras are amazing in these battles, yeah. The Hydralisks just deal so much more damage per second than the Roaches do. And while they're usually a pretty flimsy unit, if you have Roaches in front, obviously, yeah, they can shoot over them with their ranged upgrade. I actually wonder how this is going to work out in the next patch, because Hydras are going to be significantly faster than Roaches. Tunneling Claws coming up here as well for Serral. Cham, in the meantime, just doubling down on the Roach play. So if you look right now at the income graph, yeah. So this is what those golden minerals provide. So I'm probably assuming that the base at the 6 o'clock has been acquired, but he's now forced to go for the one all the way at the top. If he doesn't go for an attack though sometime soon, Cham's income is going to be nutty. Like his bank is going to be huge. Okay, once again, interesting engagement here from Cham. Ooh, my god, this isn't even really a concave anymore. This is a sandwich. Okay, Hydra's on the right side here, though. Very exposed, but they're still putting in a ton of work. Yeah, they're gonna get, some of them at the very least get sacrificed here. But all of these fights have been fantastic here for Serral. Despite the fact that he doesn't have that income lead, he's, yeah, making up for that difference by just trading very well. A lot of that trading, though, comes down to the upgrade situation, right? So Serral's got 2 upgrades right now ahead of his opponent, and he's actually cutting off some of this. Okay, I thought he wanted to move forward there. Overlord will stay alive for now, but Ravagers all get picked off. Poor guy. Okay, Tunneling Claws is done. Does he need it, though? Serral pushing in for the victory right now. He still has not seen the gold base in the bottom left-hand corner, but it turns out he doesn't need to, because his army and his movement and his control is just vastly superior. So conclusion, is Serral considered to be a cheeser now? I don't think so, no. I think what he's doing is he's reacting to what he sees his opponents doing. And if his opponents are playing a little bit too greedily, rather than playing a heavy macro game on the back of it, he just simply tries to punish them right away.